guys, and welcome back to the 52-week project. Today's video is going to be a first time photo shoot, or I think it was second time actually, with Tatiana, the model. And we actually had a really great time on the day doing her second photo shoot ever. And it was really nice because sometimes I get to photograph new faces through the agencies and they can be really quite fresh. So it can sometimes be quite a challenge if they haven't done a lot of modeling before, but also it's good to kind of challenge yourself every now and then, I think, for those types of photo shoots, because it just kind of gets you better at directing, I think, overall. And direction is really quite a big part of doing fashion photography and directing your model. I'm going to go through the photos and the behind the scenes of the day, and I'll go through the behind the scenes first so you guys can see what we got up to and how I was photographing, and I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the images from the week. So this is Tatiana's photo shoot. So the first photo I'm going to show you guys, I actually really love. I think it's a great natural shot of her, and that was the emphasis of all of these photographs, was that she was meant to have more of a natural look, I think, overall. Like I said, agencies a lot of the time love to have natural photos for their models. So I think this was a perfect opportunity to do a very natural, nice photo shoot where we were just walking around the streets doing something very casual, and we didn't have a makeup artist or a creative team on the day, it was just us two. So I think that this photo really looks quite nice overall. I think overall her expression could have been maybe a little bit different, and it could have added a bit more interest to the image. But that's the thing, it's always hard to get, I think, new faces doing different expressions sometimes, because there is a bit of a stigma when they first start off of what do I look like on camera? I probably look like an idiot when I'm doing this, and it takes a while to sort of break through that and start to not care as much. So I think that Tatiana did really well overall, and this photo is going to be in my top 5. This photo is also going to be in my top 5, and there's just something that I really love about it. I think that it still looks natural. Tatiana's doing a bit of a different expression as well, and her hair looks amazing in it. I think the first thing I look at really in the shot is her hair. And it kind of gives a bit of a 70s vibe. I really like how that turned out with the black and white as well. So that one's going to be in my top 5. These shots were a little bit more just kind of taken for full body, natural images for the website, for Vivian's. So I think that they're nice. I don't think they're anything outstanding at all. I think I could have done a lot more with directing Tatiana with these shots and actually getting a bit more of an interesting image. But I think that they're quite decent overall, and especially for someone that's not modelled a lot before, I think that that's good for her portfolio. This photo is also going to be in my top 5 this week, and it's another black and white image, and I think it's really cool with the lighting. I do like how strong it is We were shooting around 11 a.m, 12 a.m, I think, midday. So it was getting quite hot and bright, but I think it looks really cool overall, and I like the shadows that it's kind of created. Once again, giving that little bit of a vintage look with the image, so that's why I really like it overall. This image is also going to be in my top 5, and there's a few reasons why I like this image over the other full body shots. And I think it would have to be the lighting is a little bit stronger, kind of creates a little bit more of an edginess with Tatiana, especially when you get new faces and they're a little bit shy or a little bit, they feel like they're awkward. It's good to kind of get a little bit more of an edgier shot if you can. And I think that this one really shows off her features, but also I think it's a bit interesting with the shadows in the background on the fence. Maybe a little bit distracting, but I think it's a little bit more of an interesting image than the other two that I did shoot. So this one's going to be in my top 5. This image is nice. I think it's pretty. I think there's not maybe enough edginess to it. I think it's a little bit too soft and pretty, and that's why it's not going to be in my top 5. I think I could do a little bit better with directing Tatiana with this particular image, but I do kind of like how it's turned out overall with the sunlight as well. Not quite the effect that I was trying to go for, but it's a nice shot overall. This photo is not going to be in my top 5. I think that there's just not enough kind of going on in the image. There's just something I don't like about it. I think it's nice in terms of showing off Tatiana's features, and that's good for the agency, but I think that there's probably just a little bit too much going on in the background. It's kind of distracting, and I feel like I don't notice her as much in this image, and maybe it was just not a photo to turn into black and white. That could be one of the reasons, but I think overall this is just not one of my favourite images for the week, but maybe good for her portfolio in terms of people being able to see her features. This shot is also going to be in my top 5, and the difference between this shot and the last shot is that I think the colouring really helped. Maybe I potentially made a mistake with the last image in turning it into black and white, but I think the colouring looks really good in this image, and I think that her expression's a little bit better, and I just like it a lot more overall. There's a nice sun flare behind her. It kind of gives the image a really warm feel, so I think that gives it a nice natural look in the image, so going to be in my top 5. And then this is my last shot of the week of Tatiana. I think it's a really nice natural shot, once again, that shows off her features, but I think it is kind of a bit of a plain shot in terms of what I could have done with direction and angles. I think that I've got a lot of these types of shots before for my portfolio, so I think that I could have maybe worked a little bit more, but I think if I had a top 6, this one would be my number 6 for the week. I still really like the image. I just think that there could have been a lot more going on in there, and like I've said in previous episodes of this project, I am trying to think outside the box a little bit more and try and get this sort of thing happening with my work and my portfolio, and getting a little bit more interest in my imagery. So this one, not going to be my top 5, but I like how it turned out overall. This photo is going to be my number 1 for the week, and I really love how it just turned out. There was a few that I had to choose between, and I think I ended up choosing this one instead over the others because it sort of has a bit of a mood in the photograph overall, and it doesn't look like it's necessarily just a typical model shot. And that's what I kind of like about it, because sometimes when you just want natural, it's harder than it sounds to actually get to that point with photographs, and I think that this one really conveys a natural environment as well. So definitely my favourite for the week, and pretty happy with how all of them turned out in the end. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. And if you'd like to check out the 52-week photography groups on Facebook and Flickr, the links are in the description box below, so feel free to go and check out those, and you can join and see what everyone has been producing, the amazing work that everyone's been doing throughout the year so far. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!